Good evening, my friend. Welcome back to English with Thomas, where we do not only learn words, but learn how to live with them, how to carry them gently through our days, how to use them to understand ourselves a little more clearly. Today, I want to talk about something very common, something very quiet, something many people feel but rarely say out loud. Why do meetings make me so nervous? Maybe you know this feeling. You sit in a small room or in front of a screen. Your notebook is open, your pen is ready, your microphone is muted, and inside your chest, your heart is moving too fast. You tell yourself, stay calm. It's just a meeting. You are prepared. But still, your hands feel cold. Your shoulders feel tight. Your thoughts begin to run in circles. Today, I want to walk with you through this feeling, not to judge it, not to fight it, but to understand it, and to use English as a quiet tool to look at your own inner world. Let me tell you a small story. A few years ago, I had to attend a meeting with new colleagues. It was not an important meeting. No big decisions, no difficult topics. But I remember clearly how I felt. I arrived early. I chose a seat near the wall. I placed my notebook in front of me, very neatly. And then I waited. As people entered the room, I smiled politely. I nodded. I said, "Good morning." But inside, my body was already preparing for something dangerous. My breathing became shallow, so my stomach felt tight. My thoughts said, what if they ask me something? What if my English sounds strange? What if I say the wrong word? The meeting had not even started yet, and I was already tired. Maybe you have felt this too. Now, repeat this sentence softly with me. Before the meeting starts, I already feel tired. Try again, slowly. Before the meeting starts, I already feel tired. Good. This sentence is not about grammar. It is about awareness. Because very often, our fear begins before anything really happens. In that meeting, the manager asked a simple question. Does anyone have any comments? Silence. The kind of silence that feels very loud. I had a small idea, a very simple idea. Nothing clever, nothing risky. But my heart began to beat faster. I told myself, if I speak now, everyone will look at me. If I speak now, they will judge my English. If I speak now, I might make a mistake. So I stayed quiet. After the meeting ended, I felt a strange mix of emotions. Relief, because it was over. And regret, because I had not said what I wanted to say. Maybe you know this feeling too. Now, listen to this sentence. After the meeting, I felt relief and regret at the same time. Repeat after me. After the meeting, I felt relief and regret at the same time. Very good. Relief and regret, two emotions that often walk together. Let us look more closely at this nervousness. Why do meetings make us so nervous? Sometimes it is not really about the meeting. Sometimes it is about being seen. When you speak in a meeting, you are not only sharing an idea, you are showing a part of yourself. Your voice, your accent, your way of thinking. And showing yourself can feel dangerous, especially in another language. I think many English learners do not fear grammar. They fear judgment. They do not fear making a mistake. They fear being misunderstood. They fear being seen as less intelligent, less professional, less confident. Maybe you have felt this too. Sometimes I feel that meetings are not about work. They are about identity. Who am I in this room? Who am I in this language? Let me tell you about another moment. Once, I attended an online meeting with people from many countries. There are different accents, different speaking speeds, different styles. One woman spoke very quickly. Another man spoke very slowly. Someone interrupted. Someone stayed silent. And I noticed something important. The people who made mistakes were not judged more. They were simply human. Someone said the wrong word. They corrected themselves, and the meeting continued. No one laughed. No one complained. But the person who stayed silent, he looked more uncomfortable than anyone else. And I realized something. Silence can feel safe in the moment, but it often creates more fear later. Now, repeat this sentence with me. Silence feels safe, but it creates more fear later. Again, slowly. Silence feels safe, but it creates more fear later. Good. This does not mean you must always speak. Silence is sometimes wise. Silence is sometimes necessary. But silence should be a choice, not a prison. Let us talk about the body. When you feel nervous in a meeting, your body is speaking. Your shoulders rise. Your jaw becomes tight. Your breathing becomes short. Your body thinks you are in danger. But you are not. You are in a room, with chairs, with a table, with people who are also nervous in their own way. Sometimes I tell myself a simple sentence before I speak. I am safe in this moment. Repeat after me. I am safe in this moment. Again. I am safe in this moment. This sentence is not magic, but it reminds your body that you are not being chased. You are simply being heard. Now, let me share something personal. Sometimes, even now, I still feel nervous in meetings. Even as a teacher, even as someone who works with language every day. Because nervousness is not a problem to solve. It is a part of being human. Confidence does not mean the absence of fear. It means the ability to move gently with fear. Maybe you have felt pressure to be perfect. Perfect pronunciation, perfect grammar, perfect sentences. But meetings are not exams. Meetings are conversations. And conversations are not about perfection. They are about connection. Now, listen carefully to this sentence. In a meeting, I do not need to be perfect. I only need to be clear. Repeat it slowly. In a meeting, I do not need to be perfect. I only need to be clear. Very good. Clear, not perfect. Sometimes, one simple sentence is enough. I have a small idea. I am not sure, but maybe can I add something? These sentences are gentle doors into speaking. You do not need to open a big door. A small door is enough. Let me tell you one last story. There was a student of mine who hated meetings. Every time she had to speak, her voice became very quiet. Her hands shook. Her face became red. One day, she said to me, "Thomas, I feel stupid when I speak in meetings." And I asked her, "Do you feel stupid when you think in your own language?" She said, "No." And I said, "Then you are not stupid. You are just translating your intelligence." She was silent for a long time. Then she smiled. After that, she did something very small. In every meeting, she prepared one sentence, only one. And she promised herself she would say that one sentence. Not a speech, not an explanation, one sentence. Sometimes it was, "I agree with this point." Sometimes it was, "I have a question." And slowly her fear became smaller. Not gone, but smaller. Maybe you can try this too. Before your next meeting, prepare one simple sentence. Say it slowly, say it clearly, and then stop. You do not need to impress. You only need to participate. Now, take a moment. Think about your last meeting. Where were you sitting? What did you feel in your body? What did you want to say, but did not say? Now, try to say one sentence about it. Out loud, if you can. My last meeting made me feel. Complete the sentence. Good. When we talk about our fear, we make it smaller. When we name our fear, we take away some of its power. I think meetings make us nervous because they show us something important. They show us where we doubt ourselves. They show us where we want to grow. They show us where we are still learning. And that is not a weakness. That is a path. You are not bad at meetings. You are practicing meetings. You are not bad at English. You are practicing English. And practice is not a sign of failure. It is a sign of courage. Sometimes I feel that every meeting is not a test of language, but a lesson in patience with ourselves. So the next time you feel nervous, try this. Breathe in slowly and say, "This is not danger. This is growth." Repeat after me. This is not danger. This is growth. Again. This is not danger. This is growth. Very good. You are not alone in this feeling. Millions of people around the world feel the same quiet fear, and they are all learning, slowly, in their own way. You are not just learning English. You are learning how to speak when your heart is shaking, how to stay kind to yourself when your voice is uncertain, how to trust that your words, even imperfect, still have value. When we speak in meetings, we are not only sharing ideas, we are practicing courage. And courage grows very quietly. Good. Let us continue gently from where we are. Sometimes, after a meeting ends, we walk away and our mind does not stop. We replay the moment. I should have said this. I should not have said that. My voice sounded strange. They must think I am not good enough. Maybe you know this habit. The meeting is finished, but inside your head, it continues for hours, sometimes for days. I think this is one of the quiet pains of learning another language. The speaking ends, but the judging begins. And often the strongest judge is not in the room. It is inside you. Now, listen to this sentence. After the meeting, I judge myself more than others do. Repeat after me. After the meeting, I judge myself more than others do. Again, slowly. After the meeting, I judge myself more than others do. Very good. Most people in the meeting are thinking about their own words, their own mistakes, their own nervousness. They are not thinking about your small grammar error. They are thinking about their own life. This is something I learned very slowly. We believe everyone is watching us, but most people are watching themselves. Let me share another small moment. Once, after a meeting, I was sure I had said something foolish. I felt ashamed. I walked home with my head down. The next day, I met a colleague from that meeting. He smiled and said, "Thank you for your comment yesterday. It helped me think more clearly." I was surprised. I had almost forgotten what I had said, and I realized something important. The memory we carry is often heavier than the reality we created. Now, repeat this sentence. My memory is heavier than my mistake. Again. My memory is heavier than my mistake. Good. Sometimes we are not afraid of meetings. We are afraid of our own memory of meetings. We carry old experiences. A teacher who laughed, a class that was silent, a time when someone corrected us too harshly. These memories become a shadow, and every new meeting feels like the old one. But today is not yesterday. This room is not that classroom. These people are not that teacher. You are not the same person anymore. You have learned. You have grown. You have survived many difficult moments. Sometimes I think language learning is not about adding new words. It is about slowly releasing old fears. Now, let us talk about listening. In meetings, we often focus only on speaking. But listening is just as important. When you listen carefully, two things happen. First, you understand more. Second, your fear becomes quieter. Because when you truly listen, your attention moves away from yourself. You stop watching your own mistakes. You start watching the conversation. Now, try this sentence. When I listen well, my fear becomes quieter. Repeat it. When I listen well, my fear becomes quieter. Again. When I listen well, my fear becomes quieter. Very good. Sometimes a meeting is not a place to perform. It is a place to belong. You do not need to be the best speaker. You only need to be a real participant. Let me ask you something gently. When you imagine a confident speaker, what do you see? Someone who speaks fast, someone who uses difficult words, someone who never makes mistakes. Or someone who speaks slowly, clearly, and without fear of being human. Confidence is often very quiet. It is not loud. It is not dramatic. It is simply the feeling that even if I make a mistake, I will be okay. Now, repeat this sentence. Even if I make a mistake, I will be okay. Again, slowly. Even if I make a mistake, I will be okay. Good. Sometimes, before a meeting, I prepare in a very simple way, not by memorizing perfect sentences, but by preparing my mindset. I tell myself 3 things. First, I do not need to impress anyone. Second, I do not need to speak a lot. Third, I only need to be honest. These 3 sentences change everything. Now, listen and repeat. I do not need to impress anyone. Again, I do not need to impress anyone. Next, I do not need to speak a lot. Again, I do not need to speak a lot. And finally, I only need to be honest. Again, I only need to be honest. Very good. Honesty is easier than perfection. You can say, I am not sure. I need a little time to think. Can you repeat that, please? These are not weak sentences. They are strong. They show awareness. They show respect. They show courage. Let me tell you about one more student. He worked in a big international company. Every meeting was in English. He said to me, "Thomas, I feel like a child in meetings. In my language, I am confident. In English, I am small." And I said, "Then you are not small. You are bilingual in courage." He laughed. But then he understood. Every time you speak in another language, you are doing something brave. Even if your sentence is simple, even if your voice is shaking. Bravery is not about how you sound. It is about the fact that you try. Now, take a moment. Imagine your next meeting. See the room. See the screen. See the faces. Now imagine yourself speaking one calm sentence. Not fast, not perfect, just calm. What sentence will you say? Maybe it is, "I agree with this idea." Or, "Can I ask one question?" Say it now, quietly. Good. This is how confidence grows. Not in big steps, in very small ones. I think meetings make us nervous because they show us our desire to belong. We want to be accepted. We want to be respected. We want to be understood. And these are very human desires. There is nothing wrong with them. But sometimes we forget one important thing. You already belong. You were invited to the meeting. You are in the room. You are part of the team. You do not need to earn your place with perfect English. You already have a place. Now, repeat this sentence. I already have a place here. Again. I already have a place here. Very good. When you believe this, your shoulders relax, your breathing slows, your voice becomes steadier. Not because your English improved in one day, but because your trust improved. Trust in yourself. You are not late. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be in your learning. Every nervous meeting is a lesson. Every small sentence is a victory. And one day, you will sit in a meeting and notice something quietly. Your heart is calm. Your hands are warm. Your voice is steady. And you will smile to yourself. Because you will remember the days when this was very hard. And you will know you did not become confident suddenly. You became confident slowly. Through patience, through kindness, through many imperfect sentences. Let us stay here a little longer, together. Sometimes when I think about meetings, I realize that the room is only a small part of the story. The real meeting often happens inside us, between two voices. One voice says, "Speak, you have something to say." The other voice says, "Be careful, you might make a mistake." And every time, we must choose which voice to follow. This choice is very quiet. No one else can see it. But it shapes our life. Let me tell you about a moment that changed my understanding. I once attended a meeting where one man spoke very slowly. His grammar was not perfect. His accent was strong. But every time he spoke, people listened. Not because his English was beautiful, but because his ideas were clear, and because he spoke with calm honesty. When he finished speaking, there was often silence. Not an uncomfortable silence, a respectful silence. and I learned something important that day. People do not listen to your grammar. They listen to your meaning. Now, repeat this sentence with me. People listen to my meaning, not to my grammar. Again. People listen to my meaning, not to my grammar. Good. Meaning is stronger than form. When you speak in a meeting, your goal is not to show your English. Your goal is to share your thinking. And thinking is already inside you. Sometimes, before I speak, I simplify my idea in my own mind. I ask myself, what is one simple thing I want to say? Not three things, not a perfect explanation. One simple thing. This makes speaking much easier. Now, try this sentence. One simple idea is enough. Repeat it. One simple idea is enough. Again. One simple idea is enough. Very good. Let us talk about mistakes. Because fear of mistakes is at the center of nervousness. We imagine that a mistake will destroy our image. But in reality, mistakes often do the opposite. They make us more human. Have you noticed something? When someone makes a small mistake and smiles, we feel closer to them. We trust them more. Because perfection creates distance. Humanity creates connection. Sometimes I think mistakes are not cracks. They are doors. They allow people to see the real you. Now, repeat this sentence. My mistakes make me human, not weak. Again. My mistakes make me human, not weak. Good. There is another quiet fear in meetings. The fear of interruption. You start speaking. Someone interrupts you. You stop. And you tell yourself, they do not care about what I say. But often, interruption is not rejection. It is excitement. It is impatience. It is a habit. And sometimes, you can gently continue. You can say, just one more point. Let me finish this thought. These are calm, strong sentences. Now repeat one of them. Let me finish this thought. Again. Let me finish this thought. Good. You have the right to finish your sentence. Let me share something I learned as a teacher. Students who speak the most are not always the most confident. Often, they are simply the least afraid of being imperfect. And students who speak the least often have very deep thoughts. They are not empty. They are careful. But careful can become silent. And silent can become invisible. Your thoughts deserve a voice. Even a small one. Now, think about this sentence. My thoughts deserve a voice. Repeat it. My thoughts deserve a voice. Again. My thoughts deserve a voice. Very good. Sometimes meetings make us nervous because we compare ourselves. We listen to someone who speaks fluently. We listen to someone who uses difficult words. And we say, I am not like them. But comparison is a dangerous habit. Because you are not trying to become them. You are trying to become a calmer version of yourself. Your path is different. Your speed is different. Your voice is different. And that is not a problem. That is your identity. Now, repeat this sentence. My path is different, and that is okay. Again. My path is different, and that is okay. Good. There is a small exercise I often recommend. After a meeting, do not ask yourself, "Did I speak perfectly?" Ask yourself, "Did I try to be present?" Presence is more important than performance. Presence means you listened, you understood, you cared. And sometimes presence is enough. Now, repeat this. Presence is more important than performance. Again, presence is more important than performance. Very good. Let us talk about time. In meetings, we often feel pressure to respond quickly. A question comes, silence appears, and panic grows. But you are allowed to take time. You can say, "Let me think for a moment. That's a good question." These sentences create space. Space for thinking, space for breathing, space for courage. Now, repeat this sentence. Let me think for a moment. Again, let me think for a moment. Good. Thinking slowly is not a weakness. It is a sign of respect for your own mind. Sometimes I feel that meetings are one of the best teachers in life. They teach us patience. They teach us humility. They teach us how to speak when our heart is unsure. And every time you leave a meeting, even a difficult one, you are a little stronger than before. Maybe you do not feel it, but it is there, like a quiet muscle growing inside you. Confidence grows in silence, in the moments when you try again, even after fear. Now, take a deep breath. Imagine yourself 1 year from now. You are in a meeting. You speak calmly. You make a small mistake. You smile. And you continue. This future is not far. It is built from today's small efforts. From today's one sentence. From today's courage. You are not slow. You are building something very deep. And deep things take time. Let us remain here a little longer, in this quiet space. Sometimes, I think the fear in meetings is not really about language. It is about being visible. When you speak, you step out of the shadow. You allow others to notice you. And being noticed can feel risky. Because being noticed means being evaluated, even if no one is truly judging. But let me tell you something gently. You are already visible. When you enter the room, when you turn on your camera, when your name appears on the screen. Speaking does not create visibility. It only gives shape to it. Now, repeat this sentence. I am already visible. I do not need to hide. Again, I am already visible. I do not need to hide. Very good. There is another quiet habit that makes meetings difficult. We imagine the future. We imagine ourselves failing. We imagine someone smiling politely, someone not understanding, someone thinking badly of us. And this imagination happens very fast. Before the meeting, before the first word, before anything real. Our mind travels into a future that does not exist. And then our body reacts as if it is already true. Now, listen carefully. The future in my mind is not the future in the room. Repeat it. The future in my mind is not the future in the room. Again. The future in my mind is not the future in the room. Good. This is very important. What you imagine is not what will happen. Often, the meeting is much kinder than your fear. Let me tell you about silence again. Sometimes you do not speak in a meeting, and that is okay. Not every meeting needs your voice, but what matters is how you treat yourself afterward. Do you say, "I am useless"? Or do you say, "Today, I was learning by listening"? Because listening is also participation. Silence can be a choice, not a failure. Now, repeat this sentence. Listening is also participation. Again, listening is also participation. Very good. There is something beautiful about small progress. Maybe last year you said nothing. This year you say one sentence. Next year you say two. This is how growth works. Not in jumps, in steps. Very small steps. And every step counts. Sometimes I think we expect confidence too quickly. We want to feel comfortable immediately. But comfort is built slowly. Like trust. You do not trust someone after one meeting. You trust them after many small experiences. And confidence is the same. You do not trust your voice after one success. You trust it after many small tries. Now, repeat this. Confidence is built slowly. Again, confidence is built slowly. Good. Let us talk about kindness. Not kindness to others. Kindness to yourself. After a meeting, try this. Instead of asking, "What did I do wrong?" ask, "What did I do well?" Maybe you listened carefully. Maybe you spoke one sentence. Maybe you stayed calm. These are real achievements, but we often ignore them. We only collect our mistakes, and we forget our courage. Now, repeat this sentence. I will notice my courage. Again. I will notice my courage. Very good. Sometimes meetings make us nervous because they remind us of school. A teacher, a classroom, a test. But a meeting is not a classroom. There is no grade, no score, no exam paper. There are only people trying to work together. You are not a student there. You are a colleague, an equal. Now repeat this. I am not a student here. I am a colleague. Again. I am not a student here. I am a colleague. Good. There is one more thing I want to share with you. Many people believe that confident speakers are born confident. But this is not true. Most confident speakers were once very afraid. They simply stayed. They did not escape every difficult moment. They stayed in the meeting. They stayed in the conversation. They stayed in the learning. And slowly, fear lost its power. Not because fear disappeared, but because courage became stronger. Now, repeat this sentence. I stay even when I am afraid. Again. I stay even when I am afraid. Very good. Staying is a powerful decision. Every time you stay, you tell yourself, I am capable of more than I think. And this message becomes part of you. Quietly, deeply. One day, you will notice something very small. You will be in a meeting. Someone will ask a question, and your hand will move slightly. Not with panic, not with force, just naturally, and you will speak. And after, you will not think much about it. because it will feel normal. This is how fear ends. Not with a big victory, with a quiet, normal day. You are not late in your learning. You are exactly on time for your life. Your nervousness is not a problem. It is a sign that you care. And caring is a beautiful quality. So tonight or today, wherever you are, be gentle with yourself. Your English is growing. Your courage is growing, even if you cannot see it yet. Let us continue, slowly, without hurry. There is something else I have noticed about meetings. Often, the fear is strongest before we enter the room. Before we sit down, before we hear the first voice, the moment before. Because in that moment, everything is still possible. Every mistake, every embarrassment, every failure. But once the meeting begins, reality becomes smaller than imagination. A question is asked. Someone answers. A discussion starts. And little by little, the future becomes the present. And the present is almost always easier than what we feared. Now, repeat this sentence with me. The present is easier than what I fear. Again. The present is easier than what I fear. Very good. Sometimes, I think we carry a strange belief. We believe that everyone else in the meeting is confident. That everyone else knows exactly what to say. That everyone else is calm. But this is an illusion. Behind every calm face, there is a private worry. Behind every fluent speaker, there is a memory of fear. You are not the only one who feels uncertain. You are simply honest enough to notice it. Now, repeat this. I am not the only one who feels uncertain. Again. I am not the only one who feels uncertain. Good. Let me tell you something very simple, but very important. In meetings, people do not remember sentences. They remember impressions. They remember if you were respectful, if you listened, if you were cooperative, if you were kind. They rarely remember your small grammar mistake, but they always remember how you made them feel. Now, repeat this sentence. People remember how I make them feel. Again, people remember how I make them feel. Very good. So, instead of asking, did I speak perfect English? Try asking, was I respectful? Was I clear? Was I present? These questions lead to peace. Perfection leads to anxiety. Let us talk about the voice. When we are nervous, our voice becomes different. Higher, faster, weaker. This is normal. Your body is protecting you. So be patient with your voice. Speak slower than you think you should. Pause more than you think is necessary. Silence is not your enemy. Silence is your friend. It gives you time. It gives you space. It gives you control. Now, repeat this sentence. Silence helps me speak. Again. Silence helps me speak. Good. There is a small habit that helps many learners. After a meeting, write one sentence. Only one. Not about your mistakes. About your learning. For example, today, I learned how to interrupt politely. Today, I learned a new phrase. Today, I learned that I can survive nervousness. This changes your memory of meetings, from pain to progress. Now, repeat this. Every meeting teaches me something. Again, every meeting teaches me something. Very good. Sometimes meetings make us nervous because we think too far. We think about the next 10 meetings, the next year, our whole career. But courage only lives in one place. Now. Not tomorrow. Not next month. Only now. Only this one sentence. Only this one breath. Now, repeat this. I only need courage for this moment. Again. I only need courage for this moment. Good. Let me tell you something very honest. You do not need to become someone else to speak well in meetings. You do not need a new personality. You do not need to be louder. You do not need to be different. You only need to become a little more yourself. Calmer, kinder, more patient. Your quiet style is not a weakness. It is a strength. The world does not need only loud voices. It needs thoughtful ones. Now, repeat this sentence. My quiet voice has value. Again. My quiet voice has value. Very good. There is a final thought I want to leave with you. One day, you will look back at this time. At these nervous meetings, at these shaking hands, at these careful sentences. And you will feel something unexpected. Gratitude. Because this was the time when you were brave in silence, when you learned to stay, when you built confidence without anyone noticing. And you will understand something very simple. You were never weak. You were learning. And learning always looks like this at the beginning. Uncertain. Slow, quiet, but deeply strong. So tonight or today, wherever you are, thank yourself for every meeting you entered, for every sentence you tried to say, for every fear you did not run away from. This is not small. This is your growth. And now, before we say goodbye, let me leave you with one last quiet thought. Your nervousness is not an enemy or is a signal. A signal that you care. A signal that this moment matters to you. A signal that you are standing at the edge of growth. Do not try to destroy this feeling. Learn to walk with it. Because courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is the decision to speak even when your voice is soft, even when your hands are shaking, even when your sentence is simple. Every time you enter a meeting, you are not only going to work, you are practicing patience, you are practicing self-respect, you are practicing trust. And slowly, without noise, your fear will change. It will become smaller, quieter, kinder. Until one day, you will sit in a meeting and you will not think about fear at all. You will simply listen. You will simply speak. And you will simply be there. And that will be enough. This is English with Thomas. I'm Thomas. Keep speaking. Keep growing. And keep trusting yourself.